Thomas Edward Lawrence, known as Lawrence of Arabia, was a British archaeologist, army officer, diplomat, and writer. He played a key role in the Arab Revolt against the Ottoman Empire during World War I, and his exploits were later sensationalized by the media and popular culture. Let us know more about him in this video. Thomas Edward Lawrence, born on August 16, 1888, in the Welsh town of Tremadoc, was raised by his unmarried parents. He studied history at Oxford. At a young age, Lawrence developed a passion for history and archaeology, particularly the Middle Ages. He spent his summers cycling and walking through France and Syria, studying medieval castles and crusader fortifications. In 1910, he was offered a position as an archaeologist at Carchemish, in northern Syria. While working there, he gained experience in Middle Eastern leadership practices and conflict resolution, as he was involved in a high-tension relationship with a German-led team working nearby on the Baghdad Railway. In 1914, Lawrence and Woolley were tasked by the British military with surveying the Negev desert under the guise of an archaeological expedition. The Negev was strategically important, as an Ottoman army attacking Egypt would have to cross it. Lawrence and Woolley made an archaeological survey of the Negev desert, but their main goal was to update mapping of the area, with special attention to features of military relevance such as water sources. Lawrence also visited Aqaba and Shobek, two important strategic locations in the Negev desert. This survey gave the British military valuable intelligence about the Negev desert, which would later be used in World War I. Lawrence joined the British Army in October 1914 and was assigned to the Arab Bureau in Cairo. For his first mission, Lawrence was sent to Mesopotamia in the spring of 1916 to help relieve the siege of Kut. He tried to do this by starting an Arab uprising and bribing Ottoman officials, but his mission was unsuccessful. In October 1915, the Sharif of Mecca, Hussein bin Ali, demanded an immediate commitment from Britain to support the Arab Revolt. He threatened to throw his weight behind the Ottomans if Britain did not agree. Britain was in a difficult position, as it was struggling in the Gallipoli campaign, so the British High Commissioner in Egypt, Henry McMahon, responded with a letter that was generally agreeable to Hussein's demands. Then the Arab Revolt began in June 1916, but soon stalled after initial successes. The Ottoman army was poised to advance on Mecca. In October 1916, Lawrence and Stores were sent to the Hejaz on an intelligence mission. Lawrence met Hussein's sons, and concluded that Faisal was the best leader for the revolt. Lawrence used his knowledge of the Arab world and his Arabic skills to build relationships with Arab leaders and coordinate their military operations. He worked closely with Faisal, and played a key role in several important victories. He ensured that the Arab forces were well equipped and trained, and planned and executed successful military operations. He also participated personally in several battles. In November 1917, Lawrence was disguised as an Arab and was captured by the Ottoman army while on a reconnaissance mission. He was taken to Dira, where he was subjected to a brutal beating and sexual assault by a Turkish officer. Lawrence wrote about the incident in his book 7 Pillars of Wisdom. He described how he was stripped naked and beaten with a stick until he lost consciousness. He was then taken to a cell and raped by the Turkish officer. It was a traumatic experience for him, it changed him profoundly, and it had a lasting impact on his work and his writing. After the war, Lawrence served in the British Foreign Office and then joined the Royal Air Force. He served at several RAF bases in Britain and India, and he worked to improve the RAF's air-sea rescue capabilities. He left the RAF in 1935. Lawrence was also a prolific writer, and he published 3 major texts in his lifetime: 7 Pillars of Wisdom, Homer's Odyssey, and The Forest Giant. He also translated several works from French and Arabic. He published his best-known work, 7 Pillars of Wisdom, in 1926. Lawrence was a passionate motorcyclist who owned 8 Brough Superior motorcycles. In 1935, he was tragically killed in a motorcycle accident in Dorset. He died 6 days later at the age of 46, unmarried and childless. While some have speculated that he was assassinated, there is no evidence to support this claim. Lawrence was a complex and contradictory man, both brilliant and troubled, fiercely loyal and manipulative, visionary and complicit. He believed in a better future for the Middle East, but his actions contributed to the betrayal of the Arab Revolt. He struggled to cope with the fame and notoriety that came with his exploits. Despite these contradictions, there is no doubt that Lawrence was one of the most influential figures in Middle Eastern history.